Ananse semsisio. Je me so say. So suwara. Enya Ananse ni osibo ne oho. Osibo in English is known as tiger. In the days when animals could speak and the forest was full of wonder and danger, the fearsome tiger was the king of the forest. Strong and proud, but he was also arrogant and cruel. The smaller animals feared him, for he would bully them, take what he wanted, and roar loudly to remind everyone of his power. And then there was Ananse the spider, small in size, but great in cunning. Ananse believed that brains could always defeat brawn, so he often said to himself that, "Ewumse me yokrokrawade, nanso madwene ye kese pa." This is how Ananse used his cleverness to outwit Osibo and taught him a lesson he would never forget. In the forest, Osibo ruled with an iron paw. He demanded that every animal bring him food and treasures from their homes. Those who disobeyed would feel the sharp claws of his anger. One day, Osibo announced a feast. He roared across the forest. "Bring me the finest meat and the sweetest fruits. I am Osibo, the king of the forest, and I deserve the best." The animals trembled and scurried to gather what he could. But Ananse, sitting high in his web, watched and shook his head. This Osibo is too proud. He thinks he can take from everyone without consequences. Dia omaya osori fano. Oya bone. I will humble him. That night, Ananse decided to set a trap, but it had to be a trap worthy of a tiger. He gathered vines, stakes, and a heavy stone from the river bank. He worked through the night, weaving the strongest web he had ever made, setting his trap in the heart of the forest. By morning, the trap was ready. Ananse, with a sly smile, made his way to Osibo's den. Osibo was lounging on a rock, his tail swishing lazily. When Ananse arrived, he bowed respectfully. "Great Osibo, king of the forest, I bring you news of a great treasure hidden deep in the forest. A treasure fit only for a king like you." Osibo lifted his head. "A treasure? What treasure, Ananse? Speak quickly." Ananse gestured excitedly. His plan is working. "It is a golden drum, Osibo. It lies in a clearing, gathered by no one, but only the strongest and bravest can claim it. Surely, such a prize belongs to you." Osibo's eyes gleamed with greed. He loved treasures, and the thought of a golden drum made his heart race. Osibo smirked. "Lead me to it, Ananse. Show me where the treasure is, and I will reward you." Ananse nodded, hiding his grin. He knew Osibo's pride would blind him to any danger. Ananse led Osibo deep into the forest to the clearing where he had set his trap. The golden drum, which Ananse had cleverly crafted from the dried grounds and leaves, sat gleaming in the sunlight. Ananse pointed. "That is it, great Osibo. But beware. It is said that only those with the courage to leap upon it can claim it." Osibo, full of pride, roared and leaped onto the drum without hesitation. The moment his prows touched it, the trap sprang to life. The vines tightened around him, and the stakes snapped into place, and the heavy stone pinned him to the ground. Roaring in rage, Osibo said, "Ananse, what is this? Release me at once." Laughing, Ananse replied, Osibo, you are strong, but you are not wise. Diawata and Adrenino, Nejuma Begira, you have bullied the forest for too long. Today, you learn humility." Osibo struggled and roared, but the trap held firm. As the hours passed, the other animals gathered around, curiously stepping closer to see their once feared king trapped like a prey. Whispering, one of the animals said, "Hey, look Look at Osibo now. His strength means nothing, oh. The other added, Ananse has done what we couldn't do. He has tamed the tiger. Osibo, seeing his pride reduced to shame, called out to Ananse, Ananse, you have proven your cleverness. Release me, and I promise I will change. I will no longer bully the animals of the forest. Ananse, smiling slyly, said, Promises are like the wind, Osibo. They are easy to make, but hard to keep. But I'll give you a chance. If you break your word, you will find yourself in an even tighter trap. With a flick of his legs, Ananse loosened the trap, and Osibo stumbled free. Humbled and quiet, the once proud tiger slinked away into the forest. The animals cheered, and Ananse, ever the trickster, climbed back to his web. Ananse smiled to himself. Pride is a dangerous thing, but it is no match for wisdom. And so the story of Ananse and the tiger became a lesson for all who heard it. Strength may command fear, but it is wisdom that commands respect. To this day, when you see the tiger tread carefully in the forest, remember Osibo's shame and Ananse's cleverness, and let us remind you of the power of the mind. Mananse semno, ahana midi besi, say ye do, and ye do, me de so meho.